Good afternoon, YouTube viewers and subscribers. So as a follow-up to my another means to clean an engine where I use the gunk carb and parts cleaner, a good friend of mine, Jim, who lives just down south of me, sent me a donor engine so that I could test that cleaner. That was before I actually had found and cleaned this exhaust. What Jim sent me was some parts. I asked him just for some nasty old parts, damaged parts, whatever. And what he sent me was the majority of a Moki 180 two-stroke engine here. Now, this engine upon inspection doesn't have a whole lot of carbon varnish deposits on it. This portion of a OS muffler has some, but I think we've kind of seen what happens with the varnish and carbon deposits. It looks like it cleans it up pretty good. The interesting thing with these parts that Jim sent me is this engine is locked up tight. I mean, here you've got the front housing with the crankshaft and bearings, and you can't turn this son of a bitch at all, and it looks like that's either dirt or rust, maybe a combination of both. As far as this head goes, we'll be looking to see what happens in here, to see if this becomes perfectly clean. I'm hoping I can fit all these parts in that container at the same time. This rear cover, I'm probably not going to put in there because I don't really see a need for that. There's really nothing there that's going to change much. But this portion of the crankcase here that has a piston stuck in it, you can see the piston has got a lot of carbon buildup on it. So I would expect to see that come free. The thing with this is, it's completely locked up. I mean, that won't move at all. So the test here is not really is the gunk going to clean the carbon off, because we already know from the first test that it does. Now what I'm going to test, and hopefully the results will show, is does sitting these parts in that gunk for a long period of time, probably going to do like a 24-hour thing here at least. Does it do the following? A, does it discolor the case, this exhaust? Does it discolor the aluminum parts, first of all? So let's get a good look at these parts to see what they look like now, and we'll be able to do some comparisons. I'll take freeze frames of these. Part 2 is, can it do anything? Oh wow, I was able to get that to move a little bit. Oh, to free up these stuck parts. Now that gunk doesn't make any kind of claims whatsoever to do anything with rust. So I've got a rusty bearing here. I don't know if this is rust that's causing this not to turn or if it's just crap. Now we also know that that container is not in a ultrasonic, there's no vibration there at all, so these parts are just going to go straight in there and sit overnight for 24 hours, and I'll come back probably this time tomorrow, pull them out, and we'll see what happens. But it'll be interesting to see if it frees any of these things up anymore, or if it's just good for cleaning residue off of parts. So let me go drop these in, and we'll check them here in 24 hours. Okay, here it is, 23 hours after these parts were put in the gunk, and I'm not at all impressed with what I'm seeing here. Let's start with this. So as we figured, this was probably going to take the little bit of carbon that was on this muffler off. It does not appear that it discolored this part at all. Here's the head. To me, this looks absolutely no different than it did before. It still has that crusty carbon buildup there. And what I did with these parts is I pulled them out and I put them in a little container of water and kind of swished them around to rinse them off a little bit so maybe they wouldn't smell quite so much. So, and dried them off. So no change there. This thing is marginally different looking, but it's still locked up tight. Again, there wasn't any carbon residue on this. It doesn't appear that this is discolored the case at all. And the final piece here is this. Maybe it did a little bit to the top of that piston, but it sure as heck didn't do much. And again, this did not discolor the case. Oh wow, it might have actually freed that part up though. I certainly couldn't do that before. Now I can't move that, but it looks like it did at least do a little bit here. So it moved that a little bit. I'm going to leave it just like that. So not at all impressed with the results of this 24-hour sitting in here. So I guess the only other thing I'm going to be able to do here is I'm going to throw all these parts in the ultrasonic cleaner for, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so with a little bit of heat, some vibration, and see if this changes at all. I'm going to put this face down. See if this frees up at all, and see if anything more positive happens to the top of this piston. Or not. That's about all I can hope for, and we'll see. So I guess in a nutshell, that gunk cleaner does look like it will clean off heavy exhaust residue from an exhaust, or heavy carbon residue from an exhaust. It does not look like it discolors an aluminum case, at least not in this instance, and it certainly doesn't free up stuck parts. So let's go and put these in the ultrasonic cleaner, and we'll take another quick look at these here when they come out. Alright, well here we are after about 35-40 minutes in the LA's Totally Awesome Cleaner and Ultrasonic. This one is a real head scratcher to me, because now my LA's Totally Awesome solution was brand new and it was nice and yellow. It's nice and brown now, but I am still not seeing a whole hell of a lot of difference here. As you can hear, this thing it's freed up quite a bit now. It'll actually move up and down, but oh shit, but that piston is still pretty damn nasty. I mean, maybe the case looks a little bit different, but I don't know. I mean, really don't know. This head, look at that, still has a really heavy layer of carbon on it. It's like this ultrasonic and LA's did absolutely nothing for this thing. This front end, I don't know if that looks a little bit different or not. It's still locked up. So I mean, this one is a head scratcher. This engine is just not cleanable apparently. Maybe if I left this in the LA's for longer, I think what I really need to do is try and get this out, but I'm not really going to waste any more time or materials, consumables on this engine. Piston, okay, that connecting rod moves a little bit, but I mean, this is really the first time I've ever had an experience where the LA's didn't do at least something significant. But like I said, my solution is brown as hell, where it was a nice pale yellow initially, so it must have cleaned something out. Maybe it's just a matter of spending more time there, but otherwise I'm considering this experiment a complete and utter failure on all counts. The gunk portion of it was a failure, and in this instance, the LA's Totally Awesome Cleaner, 30 minutes in an ultrasonic cleaner, was pretty much a complete failure too, because that doesn't look any different, this doesn't look any different, and this still is an immovable hunk of doorstop. So as far as I'm concerned, this whole experiment has been a complete failure. But I mean, nevertheless, I'm still going to continue to use my LA's Totally Awesome Cleaner and Ultrasonic for cleaning things, and I'll probably even still use the gunk if I have a super carboned up exhaust, because I'm certain that stuff will at least take that off, the carbon varnish off. Now, the next logical thing, and somebody has already suggested, well, what about putting the gunk in the ultrasonic cleaner? Well, that is an option. It isn't an option I'm going to explore with this engine, because like I said, I'm not going to waste any more time with this. That gunk solution is kind of thick and almost kind of a syrupy consistency, and you know, I don't really want to be putting that in my cleaner, my ultrasonic cleaner, because it stinks, it smells bad. Hell, these parts even still smell like it a little bit even after being in the ultrasonic with LAs. So that's not something that I'm going to entertain doing, because I don't think that's worthy. My method of using LAs in the ultrasonic has proven itself, you know, probably 100 times over, as many engines as I've cleaned. This one, I guess, is just a really stubborn engine. I think maybe that piston looks a little bit different, but you know, I don't know. I'm not going to waste any more time with this particular engine, and I don't know, maybe someday if I ever get a second ultrasonic cleaner, I might put gunk in it and use it, but that's not something I'm going to do anytime soon here, because I don't want to destroy my ultrasonic cleaner and stink my house up. So anyway, that's the results of this experiment, and it sucks. So thank you for watching.